Failure is often that early morning hour of darkness which precedes the dawning of the day of success. Leigh Mitchell Hodges. My friends, everything up for the day except bonds. And we look at the S&P first. Let's see, I was about to say gold. It was not our biggest gainer. It was tied with the Qs. That's the NASDAQ 100 for second place. Actually, HODL, the Bitcoin ETF, up the most for the day. In third place, or I guess fourth, since we had a tie for second, is the S&P 500. It was up 0.92%. Now, as we have been keeping up with the high that we hit 2 weeks ago of 518.22. Last week, the high was 317.38. This week, however, a higher high. Thanks for today's movement, up to $520.62. So again, things still moving in the right direction. We have stayed long. We saw things slow down and slide sideways over the last many days, but today booming up yet further. So we can see, and again, if we decide to redraw the trend line connecting this week's candle, and again, it's not too bad a match there. We're about in the middle portion of last week's candle. If we go all the way back to 3 weeks ago, we can see that the 2-day chart and the half-day chart, or the half-day 195-minute chart, which is actually a half day. It's not 4 hours. We say that often, but you should know. Keep that in mind. Don't use a 4-hour chart if you want to know what's happening every half day in the market. It's 195 minutes. And of course, we see that we are above that weekly trend line on all of our charts. Where are we with volume this week? Volume's okay so far. We have 2 days left, and we're getting close to that average volume. So we'll see where things go. Now, what could that mean if we get a nice spike? Well, it could be the topper for us. We did see spike in volume. The most recent high that we've had is back on the 29th of January that week. So again, that led, of course, to even more ups. At some point, the market will top out, but not yet. Now, let's move on to the NASDAQ 100, up even more, 1.19. It's hard to tell because it has been sucking wind going into the second week. We can see the high was 448.64 last week, 444. This week, 444.11. So again, we are just a little bit higher than last week and nowhere near the high of the week before. So, well, I say nowhere near, $4 off or so. But again, we will keep an eye on things. We're below the trend line on the half day and the 2-day and the weekly. We breached that last week, and we don't really have a way to draw another trend line at this point. What does that mean? It could mean the same thing we saw here back on the beginning of the year, where things bled off all that energy as we finished up 2023, and it took it a couple of weeks to then bound up again. That could be we're just digesting gains. That's possible, or things are ending. We'll continue to watch. What do we see on 20-year bonds? They were the only thing down for the day, and not down much, 0.03%. And of course, as we look at things, we don't have any volume to guide us here. I mean, the last high that we have with volume, the last volume move we actually have, is back on the 29th of January, where bonds peaked up to the most recent high, then died off for 3 weeks, tried to gain an energy for 2 weeks, and then last week started dying on the vine. So we'll continue to watch, wait, and see when we get some kind of signal that'll lead us in some direction that we can actually chart and follow. Remember, you can't always tell what something's going to do if it's not giving you the volume and the price signals. So don't worry about it. There's thousands of things to trade between stocks and ETFs. You don't have to stick with just one and try to trade it when it is not giving you the correct signals. Now let's look at where we are on gold. The most recent high in gold was back during the week of beginning the 4th of March. That was 203.30. Last week, 202. This week, 202. I guess it's 202.41. Last week, 202.66. This week. So we've not hit that high yet. The volume is okay for a Wednesday. We still have Thursday and Friday to go. Maybe this will boom up higher, but we really saw gold just pick up steam and blow it off, that third week of going into the green candles. And of course, we didn't have even close to average volume until the week before that boom. That was on the week beginning the 26th of February. And then where we hit that high was the week beginning the 4th of March. Since then, blowing off candle size and steam. As we look at volume, it's also been blowing that off. So we will keep an eye on things and see where gold is going to lead us. It's going to either go up or down after it may travel a while sideways. Now, what do we see going on with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin up for the day, 2.39%. Now that is, of course, the Bitcoin ETF, HODL, and we are continuing to watch. Of course, we do have, thanks to the passage of time, we have over 20 periods on the 2-day candle, so we've started getting some average volume there. We've had it for a while on the half day. Got to get up to 20 plus till we can get any kind of volume on our weekly, since this is a new security. When we look at 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin, here's what's interesting. It really boomed up starting at 3:30 today, and it is up overall 8.69% right now. Now again, we look at HODL, and we can see where it was down in the morning, gathered up a little energy in the afternoon, but nowhere near what we're seeing with Bitcoin, the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. I mean, really moving up, actually starting at 5:45 this morning. And again, this is the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, so every 95 minutes it moves throughout the day and night. So again, we see it really building in the afternoon. When we look at the candles overall, though, you can tell still pretty similar. I could fatten that up a little bit if I needed to on the spinning top. But again, we'll watch if things continue to go the way they're going now. We could expect HODL to pop up quite strong tomorrow. We shall wait and see. Of course, we are still long Bitcoin. We are cautious because we have blown through that weekly trend line on the 2-day and the half-day. And we have that spinning top sitting right there on the weekly trend line. We see it on the ETF for Bitcoin, and we see it, of course, on the Bitcoin 24-hour-a-day chart. We don't see the 2-day ranging through that weekly trend line yet, but we will keep our eye on things as we continue to move along. I'm going to be recording today for the Patreon members your 3-wave trades, and we'll be giving you your early access to charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. All things go as planned. I will be uploading both those videos to the Patreon page tonight. Remember, everything we provide for Patreon members, we put first on the Patreon page. And then, of course, we email you everything on Thursday night, which includes, yes, the weekly vertical crossovers. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.